discriminative AI essentially means that the output that the model can produce is very, very specific, and it is based on a prior data that has been provided to it. So, for example, typical use cases of this are either to classify. A classification could be is whether an email is a spam email or not, or whether it's simple with whether based on images the gender is male or female. So these are very simple classification use cases, or it could also be used to predict. Predict is essentially giving out a probability of let's say someone buying, probability of someone leaving a site, probability of a customer churning, probability of a customer or affinity of a customer to a new product, or what should be upsold, so on and so forth. So that is more on the prediction side. An important part of AI models is that, if you look at conventional programming, and I'm hoping that many of us typically would have come from a programming background. And typical conventional programming is very rule-based. A programmer would write a rule, and given an input data and the program, you would get a result, and that result was always the same. In case of machine learning, the machine learning is slightly different, is because when we are training the model, we are giving the model the result, we are giving it the underlying data, and there we are asking the model to figure out, okay, what should be the rules or what should be the program for this data that would give this result. And the machine would spit out a program or a model which can then be used on further incoming data. So this is slightly different and from a traditional, I would say, programming paradigm. And this is also important to know because all AI models are heavily dependent on the data. And this is also something we'll speak about as we look at when we looking to build AI, AI products. So generative AI is something which was unimaginable even when I was working at Bugle. While we used LLMs, we did not generate, or we did not have the generative capability, which essentially means that producing an output which is fundamentally different, or which could be different from the input altogether. And this has opened up a whole new use cases for AI to implement and to improve. So when we talk about generation, it's not only text. The generation, there's a very, very wide range of types of outputs which can be generated using generative AI, which includes everything from images, video, audio. There have been cases where people have produced all new music based on generative AI. There are things like synthetic data, their designs, code. And this has been one of the more popular use cases, especially for enterprise products, and so on and so forth. So recently I saw a video from Alibaba who were using a model, which is called the EMO model, to produce an entire video just from an image where the emotions are also matching the voice. So again, this is a case of applying different models to produce that very, very real-like experience. So this is, again, a simple example to differentiate between discriminative and generative. Discriminative is primarily you give it an input, and based on the similarity of it with the prior training data set that it has seen, it will give an output saying that, okay, hey, does it match or doesn't match? Whereas generative is that you give a prompt, you train it with, let's say, dog photos, and you give a prompt saying that create a dog image. That image may not be the 100% as per what it has seen in the past. And that is the beauty of the generative AI models. So again, this is a slightly high level and slightly technical viewpoint. But the one thing that I would like us to take away is that typically discriminative models give a very specific output set, whereas generative, the output is not bound, and it is not it will not match or depend on the prior input set.